but we've got the last one coming up now. And this is Ellie Grynberg. Is it Eli or Ellie? I don't even know. And I've got something very cute. Ellie Grynberg, or the Jewish Ryan Gosling, as he is never referred to apparently, is a lifetime Caulfield resident, a part-time comedian, and a full-time disappointment to his parents. I did not write this, he wrote it himself. As an Israeli citizen who is fluent in broken Hebrew, Eli has hosted the annual Yom Haatzmaut concert on no less than 2 occasions, also no more than 2 occasions. When he is not performing, Eli is I don't know if this should be content and creative strategist, but I think it might be content and creative strategist. And he writes in brackets, what is that even? A father of 2, a husband, and has recently been honoured with the title of Person of Interest by the Victorian Police. Though not often described as a people person or even as a decent human being, Eli still hopes everyone enjoys his act and has a Yom Haatzmaut Sameach. So welcome, Eli, and the title of his story is Saving Private Chaim.
It's a good book, if you haven't read this one. Anyway, I've always been fascinated by Chayalim. I mean, you go to Israel, they're tall, strong, tanned, and the falafel vendors never always let them eat for free. You compare this to myself, who's 4'9" in heels, weak, pale, and I get charged $1 extra if I take a napkin at Falafel or Missy. So I was really excited on my Shnat year to be doing Gadna, which is a week of Army volunteer service. I was particularly psyched when I learnt that we were going to Tel Nof, which is an Air Force base. Now, to that point, I'd never flown a fighter jet, but I figured you could learn a lot in a week. So, after maybe 2 or 3 co-pilot gigs, I'd finally get my first solo flight. So, when the big day arrived, I put on my aviator sunglasses and boarded the bus to Tel Nof. We got off the bus, and then it was time for assignment. So the bigger boys, they got allocated to the armory, others to the workshop. Then the mefaked took a good long look at me and said, "You, go to the bakery." Now, at first I thought maybe he just wants to grab something to eat before we discuss my assignment in more detail. But then I figured, you know what, we're in Tel Nof, this whole bakery thing, it's probably just an army code word, like Delta, Alpha, Romeo, Bakery, that kind of thing. Anyway, he gave me directions, and when I got there, I was very surprised to find myself standing in an actual bakery. So after I surveyed my surroundings for a little bit, a man with an oven mitt in one hand and a cigarette in the other hand came up to me. He said, "Grynberg?" "Yes." "Welcome to Eser Efes Arba." And it dawned on me, of course. We're in Tel Nof. They're not going to have a bakery. This whole thing, it was. Bakery is just a code word for a secret Israeli unit. This is great. So I lifted up my sunglasses confidently and said, "So, what does Eser Efes Arba do?" He took a deep drag of his cigarette, looked at me straight in the eye and said, "Okay, we get up at 10. We do nothing. And you go home at 4. Do you think you can handle that, Achi?" At that point, I took the cigarette out of his hand, took a puff, blew it straight back into his face, looked him dead in the eye and said, "Achi, I was born for this. And that's what I love about Israel. Even in the army, no matter how physically useless you are and how much of a liability you will be to the security of the Strait of Israel, they will find a place for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thereby ends the story slam section. I'd love everyone to give a big round of applause for all the storytellers. They're all fantastic. That was fabulous. Okay, so I want to know if our